Good morning, everyone. In this video lesson, we are going to study about reflection, refraction, and diffraction of EM waves. The various outcomes of the today's lesson are: we can know the details about the reflection of EM waves, refraction of EM waves, and diffraction of EM waves. Let us summarize what we have studied in the previous class before going into details about the electromagnetic wave properties. We have studied about characteristics of EM waves. When electric power is applied to a circuit, a system of voltages and currents is set up in it, with certain relation governed by the properties of the circuit itself. The voltage may be high if the impedance of the circuit is high. In a similar manner, any power escaping into free space is governed by the characteristics of free space. If such power escapes, it is said to be radiated, and it then propagates into the space in the shape called the electromagnetic waves. Free space is a space that do not interfere with the normal radiation and propagating of radio waves. Electromagnetic waves in the frequency range from 10 power 4 to 10 power 10 hertz used for communication purposes are arbitrarily termed as radio waves. Thus, the free space has no magnetic or gravitational, no solid bodies, and no ionized particles. The concept of free space is used because it simplifies approaches to wave propagation. Radio communication uses electromagnetic waves through Earth's atmosphere or space to carry information. We have electromagnetic waves with frequencies above 100 Hz in the extremely low frequency band to above 300 GHz in AHF has been used for communication applications. More recently, we have radiations near the visible range has also been used for communication applications. Radio waves or electromagnetic waves are oscillations that propagate through free space with velocity of light. Electromagnetic waves are transverse in nature, that is, oscillations perpendicular to the direction of propagation. We have electric field and magnetic field and direction of propagation mutually perpendicular in electromagnetic waves. We also define power density and field intensity. Power density is defined as power radiated per unit area. It is seen that power density is inversely proportional to the square of the distance from the source. This is the inverse square law, which is applied to all forms of radiations in free space. Power density is given by the formula Pt by 4 pi r square. Pt is the transmitted power. R is the radius of the sphere. An isotropic source radiates power in all the directions in the space. The electric field and the magnetic field intensities of the electromagnetic waves are also important. These two quantities are the direct counterparts of voltage and currents in the circuits. The electric field intensity is measured in terms of volts per volt, volts per meter, and magnetic field intensity is measured in amperes per meter. So electric voltage we have V equal to Zi. Similarly, electromagnetic waves E equal to Zh. E is the field intensity. Z is the characteristic impedance of the medium. H is the magnetic intensity. And we have also seen the impedance of the free space given by Z equal to root mu by epsilon. Mu is the permeability of the medium. Epsilon is the permittivity of the medium. For free space, mu equal to 4.2 10 power minus 7 Henry per meter. epsilon equal to 1 by 36 pi into 10 power 9 farad per meter. If you substitute in the formula, Z equal to root mu by epsilon, we are getting it as 377 ohms. So the impedance of the free space is 377 ohms. We also studied about polarizations and different types of polarizations. Polarization of wave is defined by the direction of the electric field in relation to the direction of the propagation. Polarization refers to the physical orientation of the radio waves in space. Waves are said to be polarized if they all have the same alignment in free space. There are three types of polarizations: linear polarization, elliptical polarization, and circular polarization. Linear polarization are classified into vertical polarization and horizontal polarization. Linear polarization results when the electric vector remains in the same plane. A linear polarization wave that is propagating across the Earth's surface is said to be vertically polarized when the electric field vector is vertical, and horizontally polarized when it is parallel to the Earth's surface. Then we have the circular polarization, elliptical polarization. Sometimes the electric vector may rotate about the line of the propagation. That can cause, for example, by the interaction of the wave with the Earth magnetic field in the ionosphere layer. Rotation of the electric vector can produce by the type of the antenna used. This effect is put to good use in satellite communication. The path traced out by the tip of the electrical vector may be ellipse. It is known as elliptical polarization. If the rotation is in clockwise direction, when looking along the direction of the propagation, the elliptical polarization is said to be right-handed. If it is anti-clockwise, it is called left-handed. Then we have circular polarization. A special case of electrical polarization is the circular polarization. Polarization used in satellite communication. In order to receive maximum signal, the polarization of the receiving antenna must be same as that of the transmitting antenna. In recent years, circular polarization has become common in UHF and VHF, VLF, ILF and MF, and some of HF antennas are made vertically polarized due to the proximity of Earth. And we have different types of polarizations used for different applications. With this concept of electromagnetic waves, we will go into study the details about reflection, refraction, and diffraction of EM waves. Radio waves are identical and behaves in a similar way as that of light. Radio waves will be reflected by ground, mountains, and buildings. The properties of the radio waves are very much similar to the properties of the light. So optical loss holds good for radio waves also. Since the waves are propagating along the surface of the ground, so reflected by ground. They are also passing through the mountains between transmitter and receivers. There may be some mountains, tall buildings, and therefore they will be reflected by tall mountains or diffracted by the mountains or buildings. That is the reason we need to study about the reflection, refraction, and diffraction. They will be reflected as they pass through the layers of the atmosphere with different densities. When electromagnetic waves are projected from transmitting antenna into the ionosphere, some of the radiations will be reflected by the ionosphere layers. So we have reflection of the electromagnetic waves exist at the ionosphere layers having different densities. We have different layers in the ionosphere. We have D layer, E layer, F1 layer, F2 layer. F1, F2 layer exists from 200 kilometers to 400 kilometers. The reflection properties of the ionosphere are used for ionospheric communication. That is the reason we make use of we will study the behavior of the electromagnetic waves. EM waves may be diffracted around tall massive objects, bending. They will be bending through the tall massive objects. EM waves may also be absorbed by different medium. So some gigahertz signals, microwave signals will be penetrated through the ionosphere layers so that they can go up to satellite communication. They have to penetrate through the ionosphere layers so that they can go up to the satellite. So we have to study about the refraction phenomena. Electromagnetic radiation is a natural phenomenon that moves as a wave. Radiation means wave. When modulated electrical signal is applied to an antenna, it is converted into electromagnetic wave. So electromagnetic radiation, antenna is radiating the signal, and hence the natural phenomena is a wave motion. When propagation near the earth is examined, several factors which do not exist in free space must be considered. Thus, the waves will be reflected by the ground, mountains, and buildings. They will be reflected as they pass through the layers of the atmosphere, which have different densities. Also, electromagnetic waves may be diffracted around tall, massive objects. They may even interfere with each other when two waves from the same source meet after having traveled by different paths. Waves may also be absorbed by different medium. And hence we will study the phenomena of the electromagnetic waves in the form of wave propagation. Electromagnetic wave is a set of two transverse waves. So what is a transverse wave? We have an electric field perpendicular to it, magnetic field perpendicular to both electric field, and there is magnetic field, and there is a direction of propagation. Hence, electromagnetic waves are set of two transverse waves that move perpendicular to each other. One wave is an electric field, the other wave is a magnetic field. Both waves move perpendicular to the direction of propagation. Consider here we have the plane, three-dimensional plane. We have x-axis, y-axis. Perpendicular to both x and y, there is a z-axis. If you see the electric field is along y-axis, the arrows here, these represent the electric field. For positive half cycle of the electrical signal, we will be getting the direction upward. It is shown. For negative half cycle of the electrical signal, the radiations is in the opposite direction. So if you say that the electric field is along y direction, then we have the magnetic field. This is the magnetic field in one direction. This is the magnetic field in the other direction. Z direction, but opposite in polarity. So along Z direction, the magnetic field is propagating, moving. Electric field is generated along y direction. The magnetic field is generated along Z direction, and hence perpendicular to both y and z direction. That means there is a other direction, x direction. We have direction of propagation of the wave along x direction. So electric field is along y direction, magnetic field is along z direction, and the direction of the propagation is perpendicular to both y and z. That is nothing but the x direction. And hence electromagnetic radiation is a natural phenomena that moves as a wave. An electromagnetic wave is said to be consisting of two transverse waves, namely electric field wave magnetic field wave, electric field wave moving in one particular direction, perpendicular to it, there is a magnetic field. Perpendicular to both electric and magnetic field, there is direction of propagation of the waves. Now we'll see about the reflection of the waves. This diagram showing the phenomenon of reflection and refraction. There is much similarity between the reflection of light by a mirror and the reflection of electromagnetic waves by a conducting medium. In both cases, the angle of reflection is equal to the angle of incidence. When the reflection of light, the incident ray, the reflected ray, and the normal at the point of incident are in the one plane, then the proof of the equality of angles of reflection and incidence follows the corresponding proof of what is known as the second law of reflected for the light. So when the angle of incidence, we have an incident ray, and this is the reflected ray, normal to the axis. Suppose we have air and water, they are having two different refractive indices. Then the light is striking, then it will be reflected back. When the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection, the ray will be reflected. It will be refracted. Similar with the light, the refraction takes place when electromagnetic wave pass from one propagating medium to another, having different density. This situation causes the wavefront to acquire a new direction. This is a new direction, angle of refraction, new direction, the second medium, and is brought about by change in wave velocity. The simplest case of refraction concerns two medium with a plane. It is shown here. So we have a boundary between two medium. The electromagnetic wave, similar to light, passing through a medium, from one medium to another medium. They will be reflected and they will penetrate, changes the direction. Reflection of a plane wave from a smooth surface is shown in this figure. We have an incident wave, and this is angle of incidence. This is the reflecting surface. The waves are striking the reflecting surface. Then the rays will be reflected back. In this case, the angle of incidence and angle of reflection will be the same. So the wave is changing its direction, reversing its direction. The waves are coming like this. If I say this is an incident wave passing through the medium, when it is striking the surface, it will be reflected. Reflected signal will go in the other direction. So it is striking the boundary of one medium to another medium. They are not penetrating it. The waves will be reflected back. It is reflected, changes direction, and again passing through the same medium. Such a phenomena, we call it as a reflection phenomena. We can observe this phenomena in optics also. We have in optical fiber communication, we have core and cladding of the optical fiber. Core is made up of high refractive index than cladding. When a light is projected in the core, at the core cladding boundary, the light will be reflected because refractive index of core is higher than the refractive index of cladding. The same thing here. The refractive index of one medium is higher than the other medium. the light or the electromagnetic wave cannot pass through the other medium, they will be reflected. Reflection from a conductor. The reflection will be complete if the reflector is an ideal conductor for radio waves. Reflection of electromagnetic waves by a conducting medium is similar to reflection of light by a mirror. So we have a mirror, the mirror is reflecting the light. So electromagnetic waves are also reflected by the medium at the boundary. Then therefore we have reflection coefficient of EM waves. The reflection coefficient is defined as a ratio of the electric field intensity of the reflected wave to that of the incident wave. It is similar to the transmission line. When a transmission line, we are applying an electric field. When the transmission line is open at the far end or shorted at the far end, there will be reflections. Or at the far end, it is not terminated by characteristic impedance. When there is an impedance mismatch, there will be a reflected signal. So reflection coefficient is defined as the ratio of reflected voltage to the incident voltage. In case of transmission lines, similarly, we have reflection coefficient for electromagnetic waves. These are the waves. It is a ratio of electric field intensity of the reflected wave to the other of the incident wave. So wave is incident on the medium boundary. We have a certain electric field intensity and the waves will be reflected. Therefore, the reflected wave will have certain intensity. Then if we take the ratio of these electric field intensities, then we can get a parameter called reflection coefficient. For a perfect conductor, the reflection coefficient is unity 1. That means whatever light intensity that is incident on an object will be reflected back. Therefore, intensities will be same. We will be getting the reflection coefficient to be a unity. Reflection coefficient is less than unity for practical conducting surfaces. This result is due to the absorption of energy from the wave by the unperfect conductor. That means if the conductor is unperfect, then what will happen? Instead of reflecting, some of the energy will be absorbed by the conductor, and hence the reflected energy will be less than the incident energy. When the reflected energy is less, when the reflected electric field intensity is less than the incident field intensity, the reflection coefficient is less than unity. That means reflection coefficient is equal to electric field intensity of the reflected wave divided by electric field intensity of the incident wave. When there is absorption, the reflection intensity is less, and hence reflection coefficient is less than unity for practical conducting surfaces. Now we see the effective reflection from dielectrics. Reflection can also take place from dielectrics. Usually some of the energies are reflected and some are refracted. Refracted means passing through it. Sometimes all the energies are reflected when it is perfectly reflecting surface. Reflection do not require smooth surface. There is no need for the smooth surface. Reflection from Earth. Radio waves are often reflected from the surface of the Earth. Generally, in case of AM radio broadcasting, there is a surface wave propagation. The surface waves are propagating, they are vertically polarized, striking the ground, and they are further moving through the surface of the ground. That means they will be reflected. When the light is, when the electromagnetic waves are striking the ground, and they will be, they are not absorbed by the ground or earth. So that there is a propagation of the electromagnetic wave from transmitter to the receiver. So we need to study the reflection of radio waves from the earth. The angle of incident and reflection for each part of the surfaces are equal, then there will be reflections. In the space wave also, when the two antennas are at certain height, when the transmitting antenna is certain height, receiving antenna is at the same height, then some of the energy will be directly received by the receiver, receiving antenna. Some of the energy go to the ground and ground will reflect the energy. The reflected energy will be picked up by the receiving antenna. Therefore, at the receiving antenna, we have the direct radiation received and ground reflected electromagnetic wave radiation received. But since each part has a different orientation, the reflected wave is scattered. Definitely, there will be a scattering of the wave. Uses of reflection. If the conducting surface is curved, the reflection will follow the appropriate optical laws. Electromagnetic waves reflection is similar to the appropriate optical laws like Snell's law. Corner reflector, parabolic reflector utilize the principle of reflection to enhance the signal strength. Parabolic reflector is used in the parabolic antenna, dish antenna. Antenna is located at the focus point. The parabola dish reflecting the electromagnetic waves falling on the parabolic dish structure. The antenna, dish antenna is looking towards satellite. The electromagnetic radiations coming from the satellite, they are striking the surface of the parabola dish and they will be reflected. So all the reflected energy, electromagnetic energy is made available at the focus point of the parabola. At that point, we have the feed antenna. Then those radiations that are concentrated at the focus point are converted into electrical signal by means of a receiving antenna placed at the focus point. Therefore, reflection properties are very important in this case. So we make use of the parabolic reflector so that the waves, electromagnetic waves coming from the satellite will be reflected by the surface of the parabola and then they are concentrated at the focus point and we can pick up the electromagnetic radiation at that particular point and convert the electromagnetic radiation into modulated electrical signal and that is further applied to a TV demodulator, TV receiver to get back the original picture and sound. Now we'll study about the refraction. When electromagnetic wave pass from one medium to another medium, having different density. When the densities are different, there will be a refraction taking place. Similar to light, the refraction takes place when electromagnetic wave pass from one propagating to medium to the other medium having different density. This situation causes the wavefront to acquire a new direction in the second medium and is brought about by a change in wave velocity. The simplest case of refraction concerning two medium, we have sharply defined boundary passing through a medium. Suppose we have a medium A passing to a medium B, denser medium, and the angle of incident rays strike the boundary at some angle other than 90 degrees, then the wave fronts are refracted into the second medium. This situation causes the wave fronts to acquire a new direction in the second medium with a change in the velocity. There is a change in the velocity of the propagation of the wave in the second medium because it is the waves are passing through the second medium. Because first medium, when the waves are entering through the first medium having certain density, when they strike the boundary of one medium to the other medium, then the other medium will have different density. Therefore, there will be a refraction taking place. So in the second medium, there is a directional change, new direction for the waves. and there is a change in the velocity of the wave also. The angle of incident and the angle of the refraction is governed by the Snell's law in this case. So Snell's law is the most widely used law for optics. The same Snell's law can be used for the electromagnetic radiations to study the phenomena of reflection, refraction. Observe the diagram. We have an incident ray. Let us take a boundary, air, water boundary, for example. This is an incident ray, angle of incidence. So when angle of incidence is same as angle of reflection, then that will be reflective, normal to it. Air and water will have different densities, so some of the incident rays will be refracted into it. This is angle of refraction. It is always measured with respect to vertical axis. So the incident ray, there will be reflections from the boundary. There will be refractions penetrating through the boundary because of the different densities of air and water. Refraction of an EM wave, we have index of refraction, N or mu equal to C by V. C is the velocity of light divided by velocity of the medium. For vacuum, we have index refractive index 1, ice 1.3, glycerin 1.4, glass 1.5 to 1.7, ethyl alcohol 1.36, like that. The air has refractive index 1.0003. It is nearly equal to 1. We have a normal axis. This is the normal axis. This is an electromagnetic wave passing through the air, and they will be refracted. This is a fast medium. Slower medium means, let me take this water, air-water interface. Water will have more refractive index 1.33 than the air. Therefore, there will be a refraction inside. The amount of bending depends on the change in index of diffraction. This bending, the light, instead of penetrating, the penetration will take place. Penetration means the reflection like this. The reflection will take place when this medium will have less refractive index than this. When this medium has higher refractive index than the second medium, the light will be reflected back. When the second medium will have more refractive index, in this case we have air, one medium, refractive index is 1, water another medium, the refractive index is 1.33. So refractive index of air is 1, it is less, so it is a small refractive index, fast medium. Instead of reflecting back at the boundary, the energy will be penetrating into the slower medium. There is a bending, penetration. The amount of bending, here we have a bending of the wave. Some rays will be bent like this, depending upon this medium refractive index. The amount of bending depends on the change in the index of refraction. If the index of refraction is more, there is more bending. Direction of propagation bends toward the normal axis. This is the normal axis. The waves are applied to it, normal to it. The waves will be bent. When there is a change of refractive index, when the refractive index of the second medium is higher, the wave will be refracted into the second medium. The direction of propagation bends toward the normal axis, going from medium 1, that is lower refractive index, to denser medium, that is higher refractive index. Bending occurs because one part of the wave lags to the other. There is a lagging because slowing down. Wavelength shortens going from medium of lower to higher by a factor of 1 by n. There is a shortening of the wavelength Due to that, the wave will be slowed down in the second medium having the higher refractive index. EM waves propagating in the atmosphere, if you observe refractive index in the atmosphere, Snell's law, it follows the Snell's law. Electromagnetic waves propagating through the standard atmosphere undergoes a refraction. They behave like visible light passing through a prism as they move from one atmosphere layer to the next layer. Because in ionosphere, we have different densities in the ionosphere layer. So some of the energy will be reflected, some of the energy will be reflected back. Depends upon the refractive index. And we have eta minus delta eta by eta, sine theta L by sine theta R. Theta L is the angle of incident. Theta R is the angle of reflection. Theta is the angle of incidence. EM wave speed in first medium, that is VI, first medium. EM wave speed in the second medium, that is VR. So we have the relation between refractive index, angle of incident, angle of reflection. Then we have velocity of the electromagnetic wave between the first medium and the second medium. Electromagnetic waves propagating through an inversion undergoes severe refraction with angle of reflection potentially greater than 90 degrees. When the second medium is having more value, that is, if this is having eta and eta minus delta eta, if this value is higher, delta eta is the change, this value is higher, there is a bending, more bending into the second medium. So we'll study in detail about the Snell's law. N1 sine theta 1 equal to N2 sine theta 2, where theta 1 is angle of incidence, theta 2 is the angle of refraction, N1 is the index of refraction in the first medium, N2 is the refractive index in the second medium. So we have the relation between refractive index of one medium to other medium with respect to the angle of incidence and angle of reflection. Let me take one medium having refractive index N1. What is refractive index? It is sine of the angle of incidence divided by sine of the angle of reflection. N1 sine theta 1. Theta 1 is the angle of incidence. N2 is the refractive index of the second medium. And theta 2 is the angle of reflection or refraction in the second medium. The angles theta 1 and theta 2 are measured from a line normal to the surface and not from the surface. We always take the normal to the surface and measure theta 1 and theta 2. And we have modified Snell's law for a given medium. Refractive index is eta equal to root of mu epsilon r. Mu r is the relative permittivity. It is related to that. Mu r is the relative permeability. Mu r is the relative permittivity. So we have refractive index based on mu r and epsilon r. Mu r is 1 for the medium of interest. Then eta equal to root epsilon r. So when mu r is 1, then we have root of epsilon r. This equation can be modified as sine theta 1 by sine theta 2 equal to root of epsilon r2 by epsilon r1. Root mu by epsilon is the value. This is the normal. These are the incident wave fronts. They are the incident rays. It is a normal plane. When the waves are striking the surface, this is the medium A, medium B. Medium A is rarer medium, and medium B is the denser medium. Denser medium is having more refractive index. Let us take a wavefront here, P and P dash. normal to it. We have a wavefront, the waves are passing through it. This is the angle of incident, theta is the angle of incident, theta I, let me take. It is always measured with respect to normal. The waves are striking the boundary of medium A and medium B, rarer medium to denser medium. Then there will be a refraction of the light. So this refracted angle theta is also measured along the normal axis. So this diagram clearly showing the refraction process. Diffraction at a plane by a wavefront, it is shown in the figure. From medium A to the denser medium, the incident angle is other than 90 degrees. Wavefront PQ as shown at the instant when it is about to penetrate the denser medium. Wavefront PQ is shown at the instant wave has finished entering the second medium. The ray B traveling entirely in the radiate medium and has covered the distance QQ dash proportional to the velocity in this medium. In the same way, ray A traveled entirely in the denser medium has covered the distance PP dash. This is shorter than QQ dash because of the lower wave velocity in the denser medium. So it slows down the speed of the wave, speed of the electromagnetic wave. So lower velocity. So when it is bending more, due to the more refractive index, there will be a slowing down of the process. The in-between rays have traveled partially in each medium. When the boundary between the two media is curved, refraction still takes place again following the optical laws. When the boundary between the two medium is curved, refraction still takes place again following the optical laws. Electromagnetic waves traveling from a rarer to a denser medium are refracted towards the normal. The EM waves traveling from a denser medium to a rarer medium are bent away from the normal after refraction. Refraction is a function of dielectric constant. When wavefront enters into a slower medium, the part that enters into a medium slows down, causing the whole wavefront to bend toward the normal, as we have seen in the diagram. N1 is less than N2. So we have this refraction as a function of dielectric constant. If you see, this N1 is the refractive index of one medium, and N2 is the refractive index of the other medium. This is the normal. The waves are passing through it and striking the boundary. And we assume that N1 is less than N2, so there will be a refraction, bending of the light into the second medium. This is the angle of incidence, and this is the angle of a reflection with respect to the normal. There is a bending of light. So it is a function of the dielectric constant at the refractive index. When the wavefronts enter from a denser medium into the medium of lower dielectric constant, the waves will be deflected away from the normal with a greater propagation velocity. That is, if N1 is greater than N2. If N1, this N1 is greater than N2, therefore they will be going like this. If N1 is still higher than N2, then there is a bending again. Then there will be a total internal reflection. It will be coming back into the medium, having a refractive index N1. If N1 is far higher than N2, there is a bending of the light. This phenomena is used in the optical fiber communication to pass the light through the core only, not passing through the cladding. So we'll be getting the total internal reflection. When an electromagnetic wave traveling from a rarer medium to denser medium with angle of incidence greater than the 90 degrees, the wave get reflected back into the same medium, and the phenomenon is called total internal reflection. This phenomenon is very important in optical fiber communication. Optical fiber is made up of a core having diameter 10 micrometers. Surrounded by core, there is a cladding, which is also made up of silica. Core has higher refractive index than cladding. So when a light ray is applied to the core, the light ray passing through the core cladding boundary, and because core having higher refractive index than cladding at the boundary, the light ray will be reflected back. This phenomena we call it as total internal reflection. Similar to the optical laws, when electromagnetic wave traveling from a rarer medium to the denser medium, with the angle of incidence greater than 90 degrees, the waves gets reflected back in the same medium, and the phenomena is called total internal reflection. Angle of incidence that results the angle of refraction of exactly 90 degrees is known as critical angle. When the incident angle equals to critical angle, the wave propagation along the boundary between the medium. When it is a critical angle, incident angle is equal to critical angle, it is passing at the boundary. When it is more than the critical angle, then there will be a total internal reflection. See, observe here, this total internal reflection is clearly shown in this diagram. We have air glass interface. Air N1 is 1.5, then glass interface is 1. This is angle of incident theta I, and theta R or theta 2 is the angle of reflection. So it is passing through it, penetrating, and this passing through it, this blue line passing through it, and will be total internal reflection. It is again coming back into the glass. The reason is the angle of incidence is more than the critical angle. What is the critical angle? It is the angle, theta C is the critical angle. This red ray, it is showing, red ray, it is showing when the angle of reflection is made 90 degrees. This angle of reflection is made 90 degrees, and theta 2 is 90 degrees. Then corresponding to the angle of incidence, we call it as the critical angle. Critical angle is the angle, maximum angle at which the reflected angle is 90 degrees. Then the ray will be passing through the boundary. It is passing. When if you observe this ray, green color ray, this angle of incidence is less than the critical angle, so there is a refraction. If the angle of incidence is equal to critical angle, passing through the boundary. If the angle of incidence is more than the critical angle, it will be reflected back. So it is a total internal reflection phenomena. So glass fiber, we are making use of glass fiber here. Air, when optical signal is applied to the glass, they will not go into air when the angle of incidence of the light rays more than the critical angle, so that the light passes through the glass core only. Similarly, we have the electromagnetic radiations also. We make use of the reflecting properties of the ionosphere. In ionosphere, we are making use of the frequencies less than 30 megahertz. If it is more than 30 megahertz, they will be penetrating through the ionosphere. If it is less than 30 megahertz, the electromagnetic go toward the ionosphere. Because of the different densities in the ionosphere, the energy will be reflected back, and we may collect the reflected energy at the distant end and we recover the message. And we will discuss about the diffraction. We have studied about reflection, refraction in detail, and another property of the electromagnetic wave is the diffraction. It is a common saying that the light travel in a straight line, but it does not does appear to go around corners occasionally. This phenomenon is a result of diffraction. Diffraction of electromagnetic wave is bending of wave around the edge of an obstacle. When there is an obstacle, the wave will bend around the edge of an obstacle. That we call it as the diffraction effect. See this diagram, the bending of a wave as it moves around an obstacle or passing through a narrow opening. If there is an obstacle, there is a bending of light. Slight bending is there. If it is a narrow slit is there, these lights will be bent. Similarly, the waves also will be bent. Then we will wait in the diffraction phenomenon. The bending of electromagnetic wave around the edge of an obstacle. For example, the electromagnetic wave is passing from transmitter to receiver in the space. If there is a tall mountain, there is a diffraction. The electromagnetic wave bends around that mountain and crossing the mountain and passing through the mountain, touching the mountain, bending it, and then it is further propagated toward the distant. Diffraction is a more pronounced when the object that causes it a sharp edge. That is when it is dimensions are small compared with the wavelength. The effective diffraction is described by assuming that each point on a wavefront acts as an isotropic source of radio waves. Some of the wavefront that passes behind or above an abstraction can radiate into the area behind it. Radio wave diffraction, how can houses in the shadows of hills receive a radio signal? Suppose houses are there, this is a transmitter, and the signal is to be received at the distant end here. But there is a shadow of hill. Hill is available between transmitter and a receiver. So there is a diffraction, the bending of the electromagnetic wave around the edge of an obstacle task, mountain, hill, and they will be received by the receiving antenna. So all electromagnetic radiations travel in straight line. Radio waves diffract around the hill to the house. So they are diffracting, bending, and will be received at the receiving antenna. The process by which a beam of light or other systems of waves is spread out as a result of passing through a narrow aperture or across an edge, typically accomplished by interference between the wavefronts produced. So we have this source, there is a slit, there will be a diffraction taking place. If there is a narrow slit, diffraction taking place. Through the aperture also there is a diffraction taking place. In radio waves, there are mountains are there, tall buildings are there, so the diffraction of the waves taking place, and then those signals will be available at the distant receiving antenna. This is the diffraction, initial wavefront positions P1, secondary point sources P2, P3, and then at these point sources, they will be wavefronts are diffracted, some are cancelled out. When they are 90 degrees phase shift, they will be added up and passing through it. So when there is a small slit, the waves will be diffracted. These are the waves, wavefronts. When there is a small slit, there is a diffraction. The waves are diffracted. As a result of diffraction, electromagnetic waves can appear to go around corners. Diffraction is more apparent when the objects have sharp edges, that is, when the dimensions are small in comparison to the wavelength. The electromagnetic waves are passing through the space from transmitter. The receiver maybe somewhere along the route. There is a tall mountain. It is a sharp peak. Then what happens to this? The electromagnetic waves are striking the objects. Then what happens here? There is a bending of waves. So spherical wavefronts are generated. Spherical wavefronts are generated like this. Then they are again further moved along the route. So we have reflection, refraction, and diffraction. All electromagnetic waves can be reflected, refracted, and diffracted. Reflection, the wave changes direction at a boundary, it returns in the direction as it originates, that is reflection. Refraction, a change in direction due to the speed of the wave caused by entering a different medium, that is light from air into water. Refraction is taking place. Diffraction, bending of the waves caused by obstacles. The degree and type of diffraction depends on the obstacle. And we will summarize what we studied in this lesson. Reflection, refraction, and diffraction occur with radio waves just as they do with the light. The processes are similar to that of light. Reflection will be complete if the reflector is an ideal conductor for radio waves. When electromagnetic waves swap from one medium to another medium having different densities, refraction takes place. Snell's law explains refraction and reflection. When a wavefront enters a denser medium from a lower dielectric constant medium, it bends toward the normal with lower propagation velocity. When a wavefront enters from higher dielectric constant medium into a medium with lower dielectric constant, the waves will be deflected away from the normal with greater propagation velocity. Diffraction of EM waves is bending of the wave around the edge of an obstacle. Diffraction is more pronounced when the object that causes it has a sharp edge whose dimensions are small in comparison with the wavelength. So after listening to the lesson, let us answer these questions. Reflection of EM waves occur from the surface of, options are given. The correct choice is perfect conductor. So reflection is due to the perfect conductor. If it is not perfect, some energy will be absorbed by the conductor. Second question, electromagnetic waves are reflected when they, options are given. Choice is A, pass into medium of different dielectric constant. They will be refracted if the medium of if the mediums have different dielectric constants. Diffraction of EM waves, option is D, may occur around the edge of a sharp obstacle. These are the questions we have derived from this lesson. Number 1, define reflection, refraction, and diffraction. Number 2, explain about reflection of EM waves. Explain the refraction of EM waves. Explain the principle and effect of diffraction.